Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Guido Goes Off. As always, I thank you folks for watching. Joining me is a new partnership that has come into CHWA. One of my guests is no stranger to the CHWA audience. He has been a two-time Grand Slam champion in CHWA. Though recently he's been needing to go back to winning ways. Ladies and gentlemen, Radical Rick. Rick, thank you for joining me here on the Guido Goes Off.
Yep.
And the man who believes he can change the course of action for Radical Rick. Ladies and gentlemen, someone who's recently made his return to the area and is looking to change the ways of Radical Rick. Ladies and gentlemen, he's no stranger to this audience, Johnson Van Johnson. Johnson, welcome back to the Guido Goes Off.
Thank you, Guido. Thank you for having me.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into what has brought in this partnership. But first, Rick, I'm going to get back to you. As a producer shows up here, how about nobody here? No, other than I know the CHW audience is very familiar with you. Unfortunately, a lot of the folks in GGO land are not. What prompted you to get into wrestling? What has and what's brought you to this point right now in your career?
Well, for starters, it started off when I was 3 years old. Became a wrestling fan because it was the only thing really on TV that I related with. And then after that, started saying that I wanted to be a wrestler and pretty much told everyone from grade school all the way up to high school that that's what I was gonna be. Got laughed at a lot for it.
Which I can understand.
Teachers, students, everyone. But then I met Christian back before I was familiar with his company. Told him I loved the shirt he was wearing because he was wearing a Y2J shirt. He told me I should come check out this wrestling show. He's always looking for new people. So, me being the guy that I was, kind of laughed and shrugged it off like I'd never see him again. So I'm like, yeah, I might go check it out. Because I heard it was a BY show. So about 6 months later, my brother ended up passing away.
Oh. Our condolences.
And my mom told me that I had to meet this dude. He owns a wrestling company, and I needed to talk to him. Come find out, it was Christian.
For those of you, a little lost here, he's referring to Chris Exodus, Cruiserweight, owner of CHWA. And of course, if you want to go see CHWA, let's go ahead and plug that here real quick. Every Sunday there's a show at CHWA, 127 West MacArthur Drive in Cottage Hills. Doors open at 3. Show starts at 3:30-ish. But getting back to that, so you met Christian again, and this is where you got your training.
So about the next week after that, I end up going to try to check out this show. I go to their Facebook page, read the phone number and address, and apparently they had moved addresses at that point. So I called them and I'm like, hey, where's this show at? I got told to come down and no one was there. So they had to inform me that they changed locations. And they're like, come next week and we'll get you met up with everyone that's there. So for about the first 3 to 4 months I was at CHWA after meeting Christian, I actually reffed. And then reffing turned into, well, hey, we have a spot, someone got hurt, we need a fill-in. And then pretty much from there, the rest was history.
Yep, of course, that led to, of course, several title reigns for you. The formation of SWO with Equinox and Iorio, which has recently been dissolved, shall we say. I know, which one of your acts in one of those matches has gotten you a very unfortunate chant thrown your way, which has also led to a bit of a skid against some of the female members of the roster. I know you've lost. I know recently you lost prior to your trying to find the word here. Prior to your union with Johnson Van Johnson, you lost in an international title match against the reigning champion Sophia Sombra. But now Johnson Van Johnson has joined up with you, and we will get to how this came about and what's going to go forward. But first, I'm going to bring Johnson Van Johnson on. You haven't been in the area for quite some time. If you would care to enlighten us on what you've been doing in that time and what has brought you back to the independent wrestling scene.
No problem, Guido. I used to manage the Foreign Solution, Douglas O'Shea, and Brady Shadows. We had a very tight bond. The three of us. Well, I shouldn't say the three of us. It was really the four of us. I can't mention the Foreign Solution without Billy O'Brien, now going by Misanthrope. Because of...
no, you can't forget the Dripalicious part when you go by Misanthrope, though.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You cannot forget the Dripalicious part now when you refer to the Misanthrope. I was told that on every occasion possible, but yeah, you had the now Misanthrope, you had Douglas O'Shea, you had Brady Shadows.
Yeah, it was because of backstage politics. The team wasn't able to stay together, and I decided to take a break instead of continue my wrestling managing career. So I moved out to the West Coast and started studying psychology in college. But really, that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years, and it's only been my love of wrestling that's brought me back.
And now, and I understand, just like the week prior to From the Ashes, you joined up with Radical Rick. You're at the commentary desk with Godfather and Dynamite DW, which surprised pretty much everyone, myself included, watching it here at GGO Central Control. And it was very interesting because I saw that you went from being having the luxurious space behind you. I know you went through a point where you were pretty much broke, and now you're back. Once again, with the palatial accommodations behind you. I'm assuming
100% cashmere.
100% cashmere sweaters. Back to being one of the most well-dressed men in wrestling. Is there anything you want to get into? Is there? Are you back to where you were prior to the breakup of the Foreign Solution?
actually, this funny thing that you mentioned, I did lose money and I did go broke. Part of the reason was we lost our funding. You know, Burt Reynolds passed away, and he was our major backer. And then I had made some poor investments with my family's wealth. And yeah, I was dead broke. But I'm not going to get into what caused the resurgence, but let's just say I am back in business financially. And now I'm in it for the long haul. And when I saw what was happening to Rick, it really, really touched me. It hurt me because Rick is a very, very accomplished wrestler. Rick has won, he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion at CHWA, and he was getting absolutely no respect. He shouldn't even be in a match with a woman, let alone losing to them. I really couldn't wrap my head around why that had gotten to that point, but I didn't feel that there's anybody more qualified out there to turn him around than a former wrestling manager of the year and somebody who is mentally knowledgeable in psychology.
Exactly, which, you know, and I know that's a hard degree to achieve. I have one myself, and so going to be so you're basically but one of the things that's very interesting, you weren't exactly well known for being on the level with your tactics. Let me finish.
Okay.
I could hear that eye roll from here. But you have, one of the things you have implemented with Rick is, because Rick's not been known recently for being on the up and up as far as the rules are concerned. But in the last couple of matches, with your influence, Rick has been, you know, to be honest, Rick has been wrestling well within the scope of the rules. Do you feel that this is the key to get Rick back on the right track?
Yeah, I'd like to address that. There might be some truth to allegations that we have, or at least me, have been less than on board, like above board with my practices, you know, because, you know, if you're out in nature, you know, it doesn't matter how you kill the gazelle, you got to eat that gazelle. Doesn't matter how you caught it. So it doesn't matter if it's fair. There really is no such thing as fair in the real world. But I understand that that is not the case as far as what the wrestling fan wants to see. They want to see an above-board matchup where two competitors, you know, agree to stay above board with the rules. So I feel like that's what I want to give the fans. You know, I'm returning to get the fans back on Rick's side as they should be, because he's a great wrestler. And I feel like the only reason that people are not behind him is because of the less than you know, honest way that we go about things from time to time. So we've decided to make a commitment to being above board in all our dealings, and I feel like that's going to really change the momentum for Rick and I going forward.
Okay. Got another question here for Rick. Bring you back up here. So, as I understand, as Johnson & Johnson just mentioned, you're staying within the rules in your recent matches, and I mean, despite the fact that if anyone wants to go to patreon.com/CHWA, subscribe to the For Life tier so you could see From the Ashes 2022. Not going to totally spoil it. I mean, that's the thing. Your match with Iorio, you stayed on the up and up. And also in your match recently on Thursday Night Throwdown against Logan Simmons, you also stayed within the rules. Do you feel that, to paraphrase a certain property, that this is the way to get you back into the winning ways?
I'm hoping so.
Okay. As producers
As
decide
like
to
you said,
rearrange.
I'm a great talent. I bust my butt everywhere I go.
I understand you have a match
And
tonight, so. And so.
And CHWA is one of the spots I wrestle, but I also have a couple other spots that I wrestle and are trying to wrestle for. One of which is in the state of Indiana. And that's called JICW. I've been there for about a year now. So I'm trying to venture out into more areas, more territories. But one of the things I always usually get told by a lot of the companies is, you're too small, you don't match our criteria. Pretty much the same thing every other short guy hears.
I can understand that because with a lot of promoters, it's about a look. It's about a like I said, it's about a look. But once you get your foot in the door and you can prove that you can do more than that, things get easier for you, and then you can just say, hey, yeah, I might not have the look you're looking for, but I can bring the entertainment, I can bring the fans, and then that's the important thing.
I thought that this was professional wrestling, and the criteria of a professional wrestler is that you're a damn fine wrestler. So I don't understand any promotion that wouldn't want a Radical Rick, considering he's a damn fine wrestler. Looks be damned. That sounds like I need to get a lawsuit going, because you can't hold back people from progressing in their career because they don't look the way you'd like. Maybe Radical Rick isn't the most handsome guy. Maybe he's got a big fat belly. Maybe he smells bad. All those things are true, actually. But at the same time, he's a damn fine wrestler. So it's quite ridiculous when you see a two-time Grand Slam champion losing to women and not getting booked at other promotions, and the fans totally disinterested. It's really a sham, and it's really a travesty.
And I can understand that, and that's where representation such as yourself comes into play.
Absolutely, Guido, absolutely. Like I said, I didn't show up to manage Rick. I showed up just as a friend, because I'm friends with, as you said, Christian. We're musicians, and we play music together sometimes. And like I said, I'm a wrestling fan. I was out of the business studying psychology, just visiting. But once I saw the treatment of my favorite, as a fan, my favorite wrestler, I decided that I'm just going to step in. And now I'm returning. And I also would like to let everybody know that I'm not planning on just representing Rick. I'm planning on representing anybody who feels like they need somebody to advocate for them. They're not getting the respect they deserve. If you're a good wrestler and you're committed, I'll represent you, and we will succeed together.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be we're going to take a break here. We've got some business to tend to with you, the few but faithful, but we will be right back with Jonathan Van Johnson and Radical Rick after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a break from this episode to let you know where you can see the Guido live. Illinois Elite Wrestling will be in Greenfield, Illinois at the Overtime Bar and Grill on May 21st, presenting their Frontline show. This show will start at 5 p.m. Tickets are $5 for ages 6 and up. Military veterans and active duty can get in free with valid military ID. Make sure to bring your chairs, as seating will be limited for this event. Then I return to Cottage Hills for CHWA presenting May Day, May 29th at 127 West MacArthur Drive in Cottage Hills, Illinois. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for kids. Doors open at 3, show starts again at 3:30-ish. And then, Illinois Elite Wrestling makes its triumphant return to Granite City at the Tri-City Columbus home for Torn in 2. This is June 4th at 6 p.m. Advanced tickets are available at IllinoisEliteWrestling.ticketleap.com. $10 for adults 17 and over. 6 to 16 years olds, get in for $5. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We are back. Once again, I have Johnson Van Johnson and Radical Rick. Guys, we've talked now about what has led up to today. Rick, I'm going to start with you on this next part. What are your plans? Where do you see this union with yourself and Johnson Van Johnson going? And what do you hope it will bring you in the future?
Well, first thing, I'm hoping some actual success, seeming as I've been in the slumps lately, especially with the 2 girls that I faced not that long ago.
I understand. So basically,
don't get me wrong. Maddie and Sophia are great girls. They're skilled. But to me, I don't feel like the me that would have allowed them to have actually won. I feel like I kind of let myself down.
and I can
And
understand.
I'm trying to get back to where I should be. Which is, of course, where Chaos and Damien and them are in that title picture.
And I can understand that. And do you feel it is? Do you feel it's a very lofty goal, or do you feel it's only a matter of time before that happens?
I'd like to think sooner than later, but I think it all depends on me and showing that I actually still have what I had when I was champ.
Okay, well, I'm going to take this
And I feel like Johnson can help me get there.
Okay, well, speaking of Johnson Van Johnson, I pose the same question to you, sir. Where do you think this partnership with Rick is going? And I think we might have lost you. You still here? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, once again, I pose the question to you that I just posed to Rick. Where do you see this partnership going, and what are your expectations for the future?
My expectations is that Rick is going to be the heavyweight champion of CHWA, and he's going to be my #1 priority this year. I'm going to be at CHWA every Sunday, so the crowd's going to get used to seeing us together. And my plan is to do everything within my power, behind the scenes and in front of the camera, in front of the fans, to get him in a position to win the title, to be in a match where he can win the heavyweight title, and then getting him to the point where he's able to return to form to where he can actually pull it off and win. I don't manage losers. If Rick cannot perform and 6 months down the road he's still a loser, I'm going to fire his ass. But I didn't come out of retirement to manage him because I think that that's the case. So I really do see a year from now you're going to be looking at the CHWA Heavyweight Champion.
Okay. Now, of course, as a manager, you're used to managing multiple talents. Is there anyone else in CHWA or others in the wrestling scene that you got your eye on?
I have a bunch of people that I have my eye on. There's a lot of good talent out there. Rick is one of just many wrestlers I plan on managing this next year. I'm planning on building a stable at CHWA of multiple people, and right now I'm building it one at a time. Some people I'll mention that I have my eye on. Sean Valiant. I like what he's been doing. I really do like somebody like an Aleister Crow. I don't know if you'd be open to it. But I mean, I've enjoyed his work for a long time. I'd love to work with a PT Beckham, you know, even somebody like the Enforcer. You know, I hope to bring back my bodyguard. Right now, he's actually, you know, not even here. He's out still doing business for me, you know, in Europe actually right now. But I'd like to get him back with me. There's a whole bunch of people, so I would just say just stay tuned if you really want to know. But a year from now, I think I'll be managing 5 or 6 people, and they should all be, you know, in some kind of title picture.
Okay. Now, of course, like I said, CHWA is you know, they tape every week for Sundays at 127 West MacArthur Drive. Doors open at 3. Show starts at 3:30-ish. But of course, here at the end of the month, we have the May Day pay-per-view. Okay, and we're going. I'm going to go back to Rick here with. And I just want to ask: is there anyone you're wanting to fight or have a match against at May Day? Anyone in particular?
Honestly, there's quite a few guys I'd like to face. Of course, Exodus is on the top of that list, but he's in the tag division right now, so I know that's not happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, they did. It was announced by the Godfather on Thursday Night Throwdown that there will be an 8-team ladder match for the CHWA Tag Team Championships. Well, I mean,
there's always my old partner. Because me and him, no matter what, we always tear the roof down whether we're in the ring together or against each other.
I hope that doesn't happen because I actually disagree with your statement, and I think I'm tired of seeing that match. So I hope that you get
Another one I would like to really face that I know is a really, really long shot is PT Beckham. Because I feel like the last time that I was in the gold picture, it was originally supposed to be me versus PT. But then things happened and he ended up leaving the company and someone had to take his spot.
Do you hear that? I would like to take over from that, Rick, and highlight that he was supposed to face PT for some gold, and then PT just vanishes. Why do you think that was? Because he was afraid of Rick, right?
Well, yeah, perception's reality.
We're talking about somebody, PT Beckham, who cares about wins and losses like a Hulk Hogan in the 90s. Okay? Somebody, you don't want to lose. So if he thinks he can beat you, he's going to take that match. You know, no problem. If he thought he could beat Rick, he would have taken that match any day of the week. But because he thought he couldn't beat Rick, all of a sudden he's out of here. Very interesting. Also, meaning not likely that he would ever face Rick.
Probably.
Okay. Well, it's I can see it from your vantage point. But yeah, so.
You offer a counter argument. I mean, how could it be anything other than that, Guido?
Well, I know that PT Beckham's got quite the plate full in the Midwest independent wrestling scene as of late. But I'm sure Johnson Van Johnson, if you want that match to happen with PT Beckham or with anyone else on the CHWA roster, that I'm sure you can make that happen.
I'd love to see a match with PT Beckham versus Radical Rick, but I know that it won't happen for the reason I just stated. PT Beckham cares about wins and losses, as a lot of wrestlers do, as you should. But he's not stupid either. He knows since the chances of him winning a match against Rick aren't good, he's not even going to risk it. Because that would really damage, in his mind, his momentum that he has going right now. So I doubt that match would ever happen unless Rick had something that PT wanted, which was the gold. So I wouldn't anticipate Rick facing PT until I make Rick the champion, which is going to happen, by the way. But really, we need to be piling up wins to get enough credibility behind us to get that title shot. So for this first 6 months, that's really what the focus is going to be. The fans have already seen Rick beat IRAO. He beat IRAO at the last pay-per-view. He beat him convincingly, and everybody saw it, and he didn't cheat. So I know that I hope that match is over, and we can build it with something new.
No, I mean, Johnson, you're absolutely right there. In order to get to the top of the mountain, you got to build yourself, a pile of wins. And Rick, going back to you, do you? I know there's people you want to face, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whoever's put in front of you. You got to beat. Do you feel that the game plan, we know where the end goal is, but do you feel that Johnson Van Johnson can pave that road for you?
I think he can do a good job of it. I mean, I wouldn't have hired him as my manager if I didn't think he could come through with what he says.
Well,
because I've heard a lot of BS around. I've had a couple of managers that kind of BS'd me around. And he seems like a legit guy. Like he actually wants to see me succeed where I should be.
Well, don't get me. I mean,
Guido,
don't.
I want to point that out that Rick and I are on the same page. I believe in Rick. This is, I see something in him. I've seen him succeed, and it is my mission. I've changed. When you study psychology, you have to be introspective. You have to look inward. And now when I see people, I don't really hear what they say, and I don't really see the things that they're trying to make me see. Everybody's trying to control the perception that others see of them. What I see is straight through that to the heart, to the real person. And what I see when I look at Rick is, here is a champion. He doesn't know it, and the people don't know it. But I know it, and I'm going to bring that out.
Okay. I don't want to say that the goals are too lofty, but CHWA has become quite competitive, and I know it's no easy task that you've given yourself, both of you gentlemen.
Can I stop you right there?
Go ahead.
All right, because you're doing it just like everybody else is doing it. You're being a ridiculous hater. The goals are lofty. He's won the championship we're talking about twice. What other promotion would it be lofty? Would it be considered lofty if John Cena were to come into WWE and go against Roman Reigns for the title? Would it be considered lofty if he said, I want to win that title? No, he's won it multiple times. No champion who's ever won multiple championships would it ever be considered lofty for them to recoup that championship. And also, let me mention this. There is no champion at CHWA right now. I don't know if you're aware of that, but the champion, Chaos Jester, has vacated his title, and there is literally no champion. So there's literally nobody opposing Rick right now for the championship. And also, more competitive, I'm not a sexist man, but I gotta point this out. Their international champion is a woman. So I'm not sure if it got more competitive, but I do know it's lofty at all. It's ridiculous of you to describe it as lofty.
Okay, I'm sure, that's, and I understand where you're coming from, but also you have to understand, when Rick was the champion as opposed to now, there is so much more competition in CHWA.
Like who?
Oh, let me see. Right off the top of my head, Sean Valiant, I'm sure, wants to get that title again. He'd like to hold it for more than just a couple.
Accomplished? Tell me, read off his list of accomplishments.
Damian Blackwell, I'm sure he'd like another shot at it. P.T. Beckham, Jeremy Lightfoot, the Butcher, Damian Blade. And you don't think some of the day one guys wouldn't want a shot? I mean, Drew Carter's got his shot at Mayday.
What I want to say is, how many reigns does Damian Blade have as a CHWA champion? How many reigns does Damian Blackwell have as a CHWA champion?
2.
How many reigns does Sean Valiant have as the champion? Do they have are they two-time champions?
Well, Damian Blackwell is, yes, but his title reign was.
It sounds like Damian Blackwell versus Radical Rick should be the match. Has Jeremy Lightfoot ever won the championship?
I don't know about CHWA, but you're talking veterans. Veterans. People been in the ring. I know.
I'm not discounting what they've done, but you are discounting what Rick has done by not putting him at the same level of those people.
Let me just say this. But that's the thing. I mean, that would wrestling is a world of what have you done for me lately, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, I don't want to discount Rick's skills as a wrestler. And Rick, if you feel like I'm doing that, I apologize. But the thing is, okay, let me bring this up. Let me bring you up, Rick. When was the last time you were CHWA Heavyweight Champion? I'm just going to put this out there. That's my ask.
2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago, and but that's the thing now. There was still quite a lot of talent then, but there's even more talent now, and now that the CHWA Heavyweight Championship's vacant, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Don't you feel that he should get an opportunity being a former two-time champion? Who would have more of a legitimate case to be having an opportunity than somebody who's already proven that if given the opportunity, they will be successful? Would a Sean Valiant deserve another opportunity? He just had an opportunity. He just lost and wasn't successful in that opportunity. Versus a Rick who's had that opportunity and actually been able to pull it off.
Well, Sean did win the CHWA Heavyweight title. He did beat Damian Blackwell for it, but then Cash Jester cashed in the Golden Opportunity briefcase. So,
and he lost, right?
Yes, he did. He did lose the title.
So he's a one-time champion. Rick is twice as accomplished as him. But we're going to just discount Rick and keep him on the bottom of the heap.
That's the thing. It's you got the brains and he's got the talent to get it done. More power to you guys. And once again, we're at a point right now. CHWA does not have a heavyweight champion, so might as well aim high while you got the opportunity. Why not? But I'm just saying you guys aren't the only ones.
You said what?
But I'm saying you aren't the only ones who want that belt.
Of course we're not the only ones that want the belt, but what I'm saying is it would be ridiculous to not have an opportunity for the belt, and it's also ridiculous to make it seem like we are being ridiculous by coveting it. Like, it does. Everybody I meet seems to think that we're far away from that goal. But really, I don't think that's the case. I think within a few months, we should be able to say we deserve a shot at the title. Yes, he has fallen on bad times and he has lost to women and he is at his rock bottom. And we don't have the credibility that he deserves. But the talent is still there. The talent is still there. We get him back in the gym. We start feeding him some vitamins. We get him some legal steroids, maybe some unlegal steroids, whatever. We do what we
I thought you were trying to keep things on the up and up, and here you're talking about shortcuts again. No.
Well, hold on. That is on the up and up because if you check the CHWA bylaws, there's nothing prohibiting something like steroids. There's nothing. There's nothing in there. There's no penalty. There's no testing. So it'd be like in the 90s when Jose Canseco was hitting 40 home runs and doing all the roids, and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were doing all the roids. They weren't testing it. They're turning a blind eye to it because it was good for business. And what I'm saying is, if Rick were to go and take some HGH or some steroids and build a little muscle, that would have nothing to do with breaking the rules because there's no rules against it. All I promise is that the fans aren't going to see us cheat because we're not going to cheat and break the rules. But we're definitely going to do everything within the rules to win. That's only anybody would do that, right?
No, you do have a valid point. You do have a very valid point there. But I think we've established the goals, and you know what? Strike while the iron's hot. If the two of you believe that Radical Rick can be your next CHWA Heavyweight Champion, why not?
I want to hear that you believe it. You still sound skeptical, and I feel like that's ridiculous. How can you still be...
I did not say it was ridiculous. At what point did I ever say that this was ridiculous?
You described our goals of being the heavyweight champion as lofty, which means that you feel that they're ridiculous.
No. There's a difference between lofty and ridiculous. Ridiculous would be the golden retriever that lives across the street becoming CHWA champion. Lofty is going into this Shark Tank that the CHWA championship picture is right now, and coming out on top. I'm not saying it's impossible. I never at any point said this was impossible. I said it is lofty because of the sharks in the CHWA title picture.
Rick is a shark. That's what I'm trying to say to you. You see the people at the top right now as sharks, and you see Rick as a tuna who will get eaten by the sharks. It would be lofty for this tuna to be able to swim with the sharks. You're forgetting that Rick's just as big a shark, if not bigger. You're talking about a Sean Valiant. That's a damn nurse shark, okay? Rick's over here. He's a great white, okay? And sharks are sharks and they swim together, but you're forgetting one thing. Great whites can eat a damn nurse shark. And once I get Rick back to form, he's going to go on an eating spree and a hunting spree, and he loves the taste of shark.
Well, if you can make that happen, more power to you. I know you've done a lot with a lot of talent. So if you can do that, you're the man for the job. You're more than the man for the job.
Would you like to wager anything? I would like to make a little bet that within 1 year's time, Rick is going to hold the heavyweight championship belt. And I would love to put my money where my mouth is. So can you think of anything that you would like to wager on this?
We'll talk about side action at another time. But right now, I'm gonna go back to Rick here real quick. Rick, is there anything you want to say in closing?
The only thing is, all these competitors better watch out. Because like he said, I'm hungry. I'm starting to feel like the old me again. And I'm starting to feel like I can really bring that out now. You know, back then, the old me would have just gotten ticked off over a loss and beat up a ref. I haven't done that lately. Haven't even thought of it. Because I'm trying to change for the better of myself. And prove that I can still do it with following the rules.
Okay. Well, once again, Rick, thank you for joining us here on the Guido Goes Off. Is there any place on social media that fans can find you?
My Facebook, I really don't have any social media outlets that I actually get on other than Facebook.
Okay. All right. And Johnson Van Johnson, is there anything you want to say in closing?
Oh, yes. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for bringing us on your show to talk to the wrestling fans. I do want to talk directly to the wrestling fans and say I missed you. I enjoyed. Hold on. I enjoyed 4 years ago the run that I had and being named Wrestling Manager of the Year. Touched me very deeply. I look forward to getting to be in front of the fans again, and if they want to see more and they want to see who I'm managing and see any of the shows, I'm Johnson Van Johnson III on Facebook, and on YouTube I'm going to start my own channel, JVJ Productions, and I'm going to be returning Finer Things. New episodes of Finer Things will be coming out, and I'm also going to be releasing some wrestling-themed shows that I'm producing, coming down in a few months for the boys, which is going to be a panel show where I have different people who are in the wrestling business, promoters, wrestlers, agents, things like that, and we're going to highlight one independent wrestling match a month. And that's going to, and this show's called For the Boys. So if you want to check out anything I have coming up in the future, just you can keep updated with Johnson Van Johnson on Facebook, and look for JVJ Productions on YouTube.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, once again, thank you for joining me here on the Guido Goes Off. I do look forward to seeing you guys at May Day, which is slated for May 29th, if I'm not mistaken. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's correct.
Yes.
Oh, and just shout out to Douglas and Misanthrope and Brady Shadows. Still love those guys.
All right. So Johnson Van Johnson and Radical Rick, will this alliance pay off in CHWA Gold? We will find out. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Johnson Van Johnson, thank you for joining me here on the Guido Goes Off.
Thank you.
And Radical Rick, thank you for joining us here.
Thank you. And I can also tell you that almost a guarantee me and Johnson Van Johnson will work out and you will see gold around my waist again.
Oh.
I'm even almost guaranteeing it so much as to almost being willing to put my career on the line for it.
Rick, why don't you do that? Because I'm 100% sure.
I'm not quite there yet.
I guess we got.
I'm starting to get back to me, but I want to make sure before I put that stipulation out there that I can do it.
Fair enough.
I don't want to end up losing the one place I love to wrestle and been wrestling for years over maybe.
That's the kind of thing, Guido. I just want to point this out. This is why Rick needs me. You hear that? What he just said, all that is just lack of confidence. If he was the Radical Rick I used to know, who was the two-time champion, he would never be talking in what-ifs and maybes, and I would almost guarantee blah, blah, blah. That's not the way a champion talks. A champion's 100% confident in everything they do. So these are the little things on our trajectory and on our journey to returning him to his form.
You know, and I understand it takes a lot of work, but in the end, when you are the champion, it is all worth it. And Van Johnson seems to have all the confidence in the world in you.
It's true.
I think we're definitely going to get this done.
And if not, it'll be hilarious for the fans to watch us crash and burn.
Right?
Well,
so it's going to be entertaining either way. Either we're going to succeed and get the adulation and the glory, or we'll crash and burn, and people will love to watch the car wreck.
no, everyone likes a train wreck.
Yep, that's why most people watch NASCAR.
All right, well,
I want to thank you for having us on. Jealous of your beautiful cat there.
yeah, we
I think you found a new client, Johnson.
I know I can make that cat the world champion next month.
well, I don't know. What do you think, Selena? I don't know if she's ready for the pressure yet. But once again, Radical Rick, Johnson Van Johnson, thank you guys so much for joining us here on The Guido Goes Off. Once again, you can see these two gentlemen at CHWA, 127 West MacArthur Drive, Cottage Hills, Illinois. Doors open at 3 o'clock. Show starts at 3:30-ish. And of course, I will be back at CHWA for May Day. Once again, joining the Godfather and Dynamite DW at the commentary booth. And looking forward to an incredible show there. So until next time, for my guests, Radical Rick, Johnson Van Johnson, I am the Guido, and I think we're done here.